Okay, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the presentation. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and Instagram and Rumble. And so now we're live on our Spreaker format. And of course, we're live on our TikTok. So here we are. We are now live everywhere in the pretty much where we air all the time. So a couple things before we get into the, I don't know, it's not really a presentation. It's just me hanging out with you guys because it's Saturday. So it's kind of like this is a relaxing open mic chill Saturday. You know what I mean? So yeah, Miss Wilma's not here with us. So she's still sick. So I mean, who knows? When she gets down like this, sometimes it could be a month or two. So just one of those things. So regrettably, she's just not going to be here with us today. I don't anticipate her being here tomorrow either for Bible study. So that's okay. That's okay. We'll push on through. That's what we do. Yeah. And I think what makes her, Miss Wilma's having major spasms right now. And what makes it worse is she has multiple sclerosis. So that makes it even more complicated, unfortunately. So yeah, Miss Wilma definitely just chilling. And that's what she's been doing. She's been frustrated because she's been sleeping. That's pretty much all she can do because the pain's been so bad. So, yeah, she's kind of depressed that she can't be here today, but that's okay. We'll have to, hopefully she'll be able to get back on her feet very, very soon. That's what we're hoping. But anyway, okay, a couple things for those of you who don't know. You can go to my website, bishopjameslong.com, bishopjameslong.com. And if you want to go to the church's website, that's usocc.org. Now, I want to remind you on my website, you can now take the online classes for free. You just simply go to bishopjameslong.com, click on the class link. And there you go. It's real simple. Just join. Now, of course, we also have a link there. If you'd like to donate to the church, that's wonderful. As you know, clergy don't get paid. We don't get paid one salary for being clergy for the United States Old Catholic Church. So we have a retreat coming up next year, and we're trying to raise money for our clergy. So Father Sean and Father Mark need some assistance because they're flying in from out of state. So if you can, go to usocc.org and click on the retreat button, and you'll see their information there. And if you'd like to donate, that's wonderful. That'd be wonderful. So, okay. So that is the fun-filled, exciting information there. And of course, if you want to donate to the church, just go to usocc.org, scroll down, you'll see donate, click it, and it goes to Abbott Tommy's account, and he takes care of all that. So, all right, that is the fun-filled. I think that's all the big events that we have, or yeah. We don't. One thing that we don't do, and I appreciate this, Jennifer, remind me. One thing we don't do is we don't. We're not really interested in debating here, and it's just not. So that's just something that we don't argue politics. There's a lot of other sources. There's a lot of other formats out there. They love to argue back and forth and scream and shout and hoot and holler, and that's fine. If that's what they like to do, fine. But we don't really. We don't really do a whole lot of that. As a matter of fact, we don't do that at all. It's kind of like, why? It's such a waste of time. Now, tomorrow, I want to remind everybody, we're going to be here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 8 o'clock, we'll be here for Bible study. So if you miss Wednesday, hopefully you can join us. So, I appreciate you back. So it's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow for Bible study. So this is open mic. Besides the drama and all this other stuff, is there any particular topic that you want to discuss? I have lots of really cool articles that I definitely want to present to you. One thing that we're going to start doing is hypothetical situations. I'm kind of curious of what you would do. So I kind of made up some like hypothetical scenarios, and I'm just kind of curious to sing us a song. Yeah, we want to keep our viewers, right? We want to keep the people listening. We don't want to scare them away. That would be the one thing we don't do. No, you can. Now, if you're, I don't know, Dolly is asking, is cremation frowned upon? Well, in the Roman Catholic Church, in the Catechism, it actually teaches that you can be cremated. However, the church does say in the catechism that the ashes should not be separated. But that, again, that's the Roman Catholic Church. I don't know what your faith is. Personally, I don't see an issue with that. I really don't. I know there's a lot of people who have little lockets and they have their loved ones, small ashes. I really don't think that's going to be an impediment as to whether or not they're going, to get to heaven. I don't find that to be an issue. So, but anyway, that's what the Catechism teaches, is that you should not separate the ashes. But really, I don't see where the issue. I don't see the big problem. I just don't, because ultimately it's ash, where it's not as if, well, this person has a little bit of it, in this locket and that locket, and they're all separate. So anyway, but some people do. So let me ask you guys a couple questions. Let's do a little fun a question thing. And for those of you who want to come on, I would love to bring you on. Now, what I could do is I could bring in a phone, the ministry phone, and if someone wants to call in, then we could do it that way. Because I can't bring you on screen on TikTok. And the reason being is because I'm running the show on 2 different computers. So the folks on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Rumble, they won't be able to see or hear you at all. So what I think I might do is I might, just maybe a little bit, I'll give out the number, and then we'll go from there. Maybe you can call in, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Yeah, there are theological issues with separating the ashes, but really, honestly, I don't think that's. I just don't think that's an impediment to enter heaven. I just simply don't. I understand the theology as to why this not to separate the ashes, but I'm still in awe. There have been people who have been cremated before, and their ashes were spread apart. I just can't say, oh, God says, oh, you have part of your ashes in that urn and part of the ashes in this urn, so therefore you can't get to heaven. I just, if we can lose heaven that easily, then we're in trouble. You know what I mean? That we're in big trouble. So I just think there are bigger issues at work that we need to be concerned ourselves with. So, all right. So let me ask you guys a question. So you witnessed, and these are hypothetical. These are hypothetical questions. I'm just curious what you guys would do. You witness a coworker stealing office supplies and must decide whether to report them to your supervisor, confront the person directly, or just mind your own business. I'm curious, what would you do? So you witness a coworker stealing office supplies, and you have to decide, are you going to report them? Are you going to confront them? Or are you just going to leave them alone? So some people, mind my own business, talk to them directly, confront them first. Impeachment. Yeah, you're impeached for stealing that stapler. Wow, a lot of people are saying confront. Okay. So everybody seems to confront them. Okay. There's a few people who say that Brian said they're mind their own business. There's a few folks who have said that they're going to mind their own business. But it seems to me that most people are saying confront them. Yeah, you confront them in private and say stop. Okay. Here's a difficult question for you. Are you ready for this one? Now, this was a difficult one, but I want you to really think about this. If it's my office, Judy Ann says they're fired. Here's an interesting scenario. All right, now we talked about this. Actually, I remember this in the seminary. God, over almost 25 years ago. But I still remember it. It was an ethics class, and here's the situation. Okay, here's the situation. You have the ability to go back in time one time, and you can choose any time that you wish to go back. You just can't interfere. Is there a particular time that you would want to go back to? So that's the first scenario. But then the second scenario is even more difficult. So so Captain Ribeye said 1920s. Okay. So you can go back time one time, only one time, and you can choose whatever period of time that you want to go to. 1980. Okay. Yes, I was supposed to marry Wyatt Earp. Oh, goodness. All right. So Rob says the birth of Jesus. Go back to the day I was conceived and give my mom a headache. 1976, 30s. All right. The crucifixion. Wild Western days. All right. 1978. So we have quite a few when Christ was teaching. Okay. So Michelle said no. 1950s. Adam and Eve before the apple. There we go. So 74, I go back when I was 14, on your first crush, okay, 80. So there's a lot. So the crucifixion, okay. 2002, 18. Okay, this is another one. Now, this was a difficult one. So you got to really think about this. All right, so here it is. You are given the opportunity to go back in time one time. However, it is a specific day and it is a specific time. And here is what that date is. April 20th, 1889. That is the day that you are told you're going to go back in time. This was the moment, the day, April 20th, 1889, when a certain World War II leader in Germany was born. So you have to be very careful with TikTok. So that individual was born on April 20th, 1889. Now, you have an option. One, you can visit the baby. Two, you could choose to remove that situation so that the world would not be affected by this baby, this future leader of Germany. Or three, you could just leave and mind your own business. Now, see, that was a really a hot topic that we debated. And we really debated that in seminary. So you would visit the baby. Now, remember, you can go and visit the baby, or you could remove that situation, which I think we understand what I'm talking about, so that the world would never be introduced to that baby, or you can just walk away. Wow, several of you are removing it. Goodness, you guys are tough. You guys are tough. You're good. Okay, walk away. The baby would disappear. My gosh. Okay. Now you can't take the baby. No. You can't go back in the future and take the baby with you. Can't do that. Because you have to either just visit, remove, or walk away. See, that is a tough one, isn't it? You have the opportunity to completely eliminate what happened in that particular country. Wow. And see, I remember the teacher at that time, who was a priest, and he said, here's the problem. You then, if you go, this is what the priest said, if you go and you're able to see this little baby H, which we don't know that, if you visit the baby H and you decide to remove that situation from the world, then what you are doing, in essence, is you are telling God to get out of the way, and you are playing God, because you then violate that individual's free will. See, it was a brilliant teaching lesson, because many people get angry with God. Why does God allow bad things to happen? People get confused. Just because God knows something is going to happen doesn't mean that God is the one who does it. And so we get angry with God because bad things happen to us, and we're like, why did you do this? And if you knew this was going to happen, why did you allow it? And all this. Well, look, that's the problem. So now you're in the situation where you have that power to remove the trouble completely, but that would be violating the baby's free will. What I would do is I would not remove the baby, because when you do that, you are doing exactly what God does not do for us or to us. So I'm sure none of us are perfect. So, I mean, we have to be real careful, because when you start being the judge, jury, and executioner, then you violate that person's free will. And that's something you can't do. So, but just because God knows something is going to happen does not mean God wills it to happen. So God knows that we're going to sin, but God does not will it that we sin. God doesn't want us to sin. So we have to, just because you have the knowledge of it doesn't mean you are the cause of it. So that's the problem. And that's what we have to be very careful. So in that case, no, I would not. And quite honestly, I probably would not even go back to that time at all. I would just say, I'm sorry, I'm just not, not going to even interfere, period. So, you know what I mean? And that's why it was a brilliant teaching methodology. So you put yourself in the situation where you have all the control. You have all the control. And so if those of you who've said, remove it, well, then you have to be careful, because you're doing exactly what God did not do. See, we can't have free will and then it be restrictive. So that's not free will. So either we have free will or we don't. And this is why, unfortunately, bad things and they're going to happen, because there are people who use that free will for the betterment of humankind. And then there are people who use their free will for, unfortunately, desecration and terrible things. And they will have to answer for that type of behavior. And so that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But no, I would not. I would definitely not. I wouldn't even want to go there. Okay, here's a question for you. You are asked to provide a positive reference for a former colleague and your best friend, whom you know has a history of unethical behavior. And you must decide whether or not you're going to be honest in your reference and in your personal opinion on this person, or are you going to say, oh no, they're fantastic. Now remember, this is your best friend. This is your best buddy in the whole wide world. So they come to you and they say, okay, I have applied for this job. I need it. I gotta have it. I'm behind on bills, all this other stuff. But they're just, it's unethical behavior. They never come to work. It's always calling in. Now, do you tell that company, absolutely, I would strongly encourage you to hire this person? Honestly now, remember, this is your best friend in the whole wide world. Don't give a reference. No, now Wendy, your best friend comes to you and says, look, I have to have 3 references in order to get the job. And you change friends. Man, I tell you guys are definitely, that is rough. Okay. No. So you'd be honest, Joanne, be honest. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just asking you guys this question. So I say I gave a reference, but I didn't. Okay. I wouldn't have a slouch friend. There we go. All right. You would be honest, as say elegant. Okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Let's see. Okay. You witness an environmental violation by a company that you're working for. And by the way, you're getting a pretty decent salary. And now you have to decide whether to report that violation to authorities or to ignore it and avoid the possibility of being fired. So what are you going to do? So there is an environmental violation. And are you going to ignore it, or are you going to be one of those whistleblowers? Now, people say, well, whistleblowers have protection. Look, you know what? They can still get fired. So, okay, anonymous reporting. All right, anonymous reporting. So you would, okay. But now keep in mind, if you do an anonymous reporting, I mean, that your company could be closed down too. So don't forget that. I mean, environmental violation by a company that you're working for, and you get a nice salary. So if you report that anonymously, and well, that what happens if your business closed down? That's a tough one. You ready for the challenge? Okay, you're keeping your job. Need to protect the environment. Lily's saying, be honest, get it. Well, it's true, but I mean, if it's a high paying job, and all right, okay, well, someone else's doorstep, see if that changes in nature. Nature versus nurture. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, these are interesting questions. These are just, I was thinking, I was like, I'm gonna ask them difficult ethical dilemmas tonight, and see just kind of what they would say. What they would say. You're right, money isn't everything. Okay, you're offered a job. You're offered a promotion at your work, and this is a big promotion. So this is work, you're at $40,000 a year, and you've been working there for a while, and now you are getting a supervisor, manager position where you're close to six figures. So you're at six figures now. So you just got offered a big promotion. This is big time. But you got to relocate. You have to relocate. And not only do you have to relocate, that's going to completely disrupt your entire family's life, because you have kids. They love their school. They have great friends. They're old enough to where, they're 10, 12-year-old kids. And uprooting everybody would completely disrupt your family. And you have to decide whether you're going to accept the promotion or say nope and stay at $40,000 a year. We are moving. That's it. You're moving. You got kids. They can cry in a Ferrari. That's classic. No, yeah. So a lot of you will relocate, really. Yeah, we're talking a completely different state. We're not talking about just down the street. So we're talking Florida to California or New York City. I mean, completely. Well, hello there, Ireland. See, that's the thing. That would be tough. I mean, honestly, that would be tough. I mean, if you have kids and they really love their school, and they love, they have a lot of friends, that would be tough. But see, people make decisions like this all the time, unfortunately, in life. They do. And that would be hard. That would be a difficult thing to do. Well, they do Latin, but it's Mary. It's Mary when you get the most reaction. You're right. 40,000 barely is barely surviving these days, and that is true. I mean, yeah. Okay, so that's a couple things. Okay, this is a tough one, and we're going to move on. This is a tough one. So you are the hiring manager, and your best friend has really been struggling. Not only have they been struggling, they've been struggling to find a job. They are behind in their bills. They're behind in their rent. And if they don't find a job quickly, then they're going to be evicted. So you are a hiring manager, and your job is to hire the best candidate. And you have to decide whether to choose the most qualified applicant who is not your best friend. Or do you hire your best friend and say to the most qualified applicant, I'm sorry, but we've already given the job to someone else? Oh, come on. Johnny, this is your best friend in the whole wide world. I mean, this is your best friend in the whole wide world. You only hire only one. You have only one. You can't hire both. So there's a lot of people saying best friend, my friend in need, my friend. Okay. So most people would hire their best friend. That's interesting, isn't it? It kind of makes you think there for a moment. I mean, these jobs that are being offered, these big jobs, is it really the best qualified candidate, or is the person who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody? So hired by us. Okay. All right. Well, so most of you have said you're going to do that. Most of you said, no, you can only hire one. You can only hire one. You can't hire. Nope. There's no income for hiring both. You can only hire one. You can't change the rules. You can only hire one candidate. So, all right. Well, most people say you're going to hire your friend. All right. Okay. Let's just do one more. Last one. So you're sitting in a classroom, and one of your best friends is not the greatest student when it comes to academics. They struggle. They legitimately struggle. And you also know they really do study. So they're not slacking. So let's say that they're not a slacker. They try to do the best they can, but they are struggling, and they want to graduate high school because they're in the 12th grade. It's time to graduate, but they're not doing so great, and they are struggling. You witness your best friend, who legitimately struggles, cheat on the final test to determine whether or not you graduate or not. The teacher doesn't see it. No one else sees it except for you. Do you tell the teacher that your best friend cheated, or do you keep your mouth shut? So let it go. So I'm not snitching. I'm not saying a word. Nope. Keep my mouth shut. Heck no. This one's easy. Oh, really? Would anybody tell the teacher? I haven't seen anybody says that they'll tell. So Victoria says Victoria's going to tell. Wow. Yeah, snitches end up in stitches. Okay, so everybody pretty much, most everybody said they're just going to. So, okay, Ava says they're going to tattle. All right, well, but it is high school. But I mean, still, it's interesting. Those are interesting little. Mind your business. My goodness, you guys, I'm really seriously. That's I'm shocked, but that's okay. Listen to this story for those of you. I tell you what, guys. This is really. I don't know what's going on here, but you think sometimes this is by Ben Hooper, and you think sometimes you go in like Missouri, a Missouri lake, Missouri. Okay, it's a beautiful little lake, and you got kids, and they want to go out on the lake and jump in there and swim around and have a great time. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, except for residents of a Missouri city are being warned to keep their distance from an alligator on the loose in a local lake. How does that happen? The Bon Terre Municipal Police Department said the alligator was reported in Bon Terre Lake by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. Authorities said the gator is about 20 inches long. Okay, so it's not huge, obviously, but witnesses who spotted the reptile said it appeared to be closer to 3 feet long. The reptile is not believed to be aggressive, but police warned residents not to attempt to approach or capture it. Police said the alligator is believed to be a pet that escaped or was abandoned by its owner. See, why would you do this? That is so irresponsible. Why, if somebody owned that alligator, why would you throw it in a lake where people go to that location, kids go to that location, animals go to that? I mean, you have a great outing, and then all of a sudden you get attacked or bitten by an alligator. That is just that's upsetting to me. Alligators are legal, by the way. For those of you who don't know, alligators are legal to keep as pets in Missouri and only need to be registered with the state if they exceed 8 feet long. Well, a pet alligator. You're going to have to explain that to me. I mean, I can understand a pet cat, a bird, a ferret, a dog, certainly. But a pet alligator? Yeah, call Troy Landry. Isn't that the truth? Seriously, that's crazy. But this is in for the. So if you're out and about, and if you're in Missouri, don't go to this particular lake because apparently the people in Missouri can have alligators as long as it's not 8 feet long or longer. You have to eat, but you can still register. I don't know. Alligators. I don't think alligators are one of those little cuddly creatures that you just want to cuddle up to at night. I mean, yeah. What happens if they say, you know what, it's supper time? It is supper time. So yeah, I'm glad to let you guys know that. But that lake, that's crazy. That is crazy. You know, one thing that I have learned in life, it's you're never, ever, ever too old to learn something new. Never. And that's one thing that I always like to do to keep my brain active is I like to learn as much as I possibly can. That's really, really important. To learn new things. And Jeremiah, well, I'll bring people on in just a second. So I'm going to have people call in just a second. But a woman gets her master's from Stanford at the age of 105 years old. So this is by Ben Hooper as well. It says a woman who left school during World War II finally received her master's degree in education 83 years later at the age of 105. Virginia Ginger Hislop earned her bachelor's degree from the Stanford University School of Education in 1940 and immediately started work on her master's at what is now the Stanford Graduate School of Education. Hislop's boyfriend, George Hislop, was called up to serve in World War II, leading the couple to get married and leave campus just before she would have turned in her final thesis to get her degree. She said, I thought it was one of the things I could pick up along the way if I needed it, and I always enjoyed studying, so that wasn't really a concern for me. And getting married was, Hislop said in a Stanford News release. Hislop, who now lives in Washington, remained in the education field by serving on her local school board, chairing the Yakima School Board of Directors, being a founding member of the Board of Directors of Yakima Community College, and helping to start Heritage University in Topanish, Washington, where she served 20 years on the board. Hislop returned to Stanford 83 years after leaving to accept her master's degree at the age of 105. She said, I've been doing this work for years, and it's nice to be recognized with the degree. She walked across the stage at the GSE diploma ceremony and was handed her diploma by Dean Daniel Schwartz. She says, my goodness, Hislop said, I've been waiting a long time for this. That's great. That is fantastic. So I had a 67-year-old. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. I mean, I think it really does show that you can always learn. It doesn't matter. Monstar, that was like Monstar says she cheated on her exam. I told on her too. Come on, terrible. Come on. But I thought that 105 years old. Good for her. Good for her. You know, one thing that I'm going to tell you guys is something. If you go, you're right. How many of you go shopping at Goodwill or things like that? Salvation Army. Oh yeah, Michelle, theologian. Yep. And people should. I mean, that's the thing. If you have the desire to learn, then you should absolutely do it. And that's important. Always, push yourself and learn something new, learn something different. And this is one of the reasons why, as you know, in theology, you also have to learn the other's perspective, or even education, or whatever it might be. Philosophy, ethics, moral ethics. These are all things you have to really challenge and push yourself. And sometimes it's uncomfortable because you have your own values and belief system. But when you're learning, especially religion and religious beliefs and cultural beliefs, it's so important to understand and be respectful of individuals' cultures that are different than yours. And sometimes that's not easy. But a lot of people love the Salvation Army or Goodwill. Well, listen to this. A $3.99 thrift store find turns out to be nearly a 2,000-year-old Mayan vase. Who knew? So Ben Hooper writes, the vase purchased for $3.99 at Maryland's thrift store turned out to be nearly 2,000-year-old Mayan artifact. Anna Lee Dozier of Washington, again, said that she was shopping at the 2A thrift store in Clinton when her attention was grabbed by an unusual vase. It looked oldish, but I thought maybe 20, 30 years old and some kind of tourist reproduction thing. So I bought it and took it home. And Dozier said that she was visiting Mexico on a work trip earlier this year when she noticed some items on display at the Museum of Anthropology bore a startling resemblance to the vase she purchased for $3.99. She spoke with a museum official who recommended she contact the Mexican embassy when she returned home. So Dozier shared photos and the dimensions of the vase with the embassy, and the item was identified as a Mayan artifact dating from roughly 200 to 800 AD. So Dozier and her family returned the vase to Mexican Ambassador Esteban Barragan in a ceremony held at the Cultural Institute of Mexico. She said, "I'm thrilled to have played a part in its in this reparation story. I would like to go back to its rightful place, to where it belongs. But I also want it out of my home because I have 3 little boys and I have been petrified." Well, it's gone now. But I was petrified that after 2,000 years, I would be the one to wreck it. Officials said the vase will eventually have a new home at a Mexican museum. By the way, another thrift store vase that was purchased for $3.99 from a Goodwill store in Virginia was auctioned off last year for over $107,000 when it was found to be designed by Carlo Scarpa for a famed Italian company, Vanini, in 1942. $107,000. See, I do too. Sister Jennifer, I do too. Sister Jennifer says, I love the thrift store. Here's what people know this. I love Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Love it, love Gatlinburg. I just love the rustic feel to it. There's just something very special about it. But there's a place called Cades Cove. So if you've never seen it, it's called Cades, Cades, Cades Cove in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I love that place. So basically it's a park, and it's a horseshoe kind of a park. And they have cabins, original cabins that were there from 1800s and long time. And they have a church there, and it is just so neat to be able to go. And you can go inside. You can go inside these cabins, and it's just so amazing. When you walk in, you just feel the history. It just comes to life. You feel it, and you can also sometimes see bear there. And we did when I took Miss Wilma and her sister. We saw a mama bear and 3 babies, and Miss Wilma was in they were pretty close too. So Miss Wilma was in bear heaven. But it's a neat place. It is a really neat place. I want to get that haircut. Like, my hair is all messed up, bro. Oh well, okay. I've always had my haircut like this. Always. But I so Ed likes my haircut. Okay, or maybe he's being facetious. I don't know. Who cares? This is the way I like. Dolly, what is it? Oh, he's a troll. Oh, he was a troll. Oh, Ed, are you a troll? Oh my goodness. That's terrible. We have a troll. Can you believe it? We have a troll. Ed, are you a troll on YouTube? Come on, Ed. High and tight. That's right. Okay. They usually say something. Yeah, you're right. They usually say something about my lips, like, that's kind of creepy. All right. Oh, you did? Okay. You got it. He's gone. All right. Listen to this. Boy, I tell you what, wouldn't this be a special day? You know, if I won the lottery, my goal would be to buy a small chapel, nothing big, maybe 50, 75 people, and have some type of parsonage next to it, some type of house next to it. That would be heaven to me, certainly especially in the woods. My goodness. But Ben Hooper says that a Pennsylvania woman who bought a lottery ticket to celebrate the dual milestones of her birthday and finishing cancer treatment, good for her. She won $5 million. Boy, that is, can you imagine going through the cancer treatment and having her birthday and you win $5 million? I love that story. The Pennsylvania Lottery said in a news release that Lancaster County resident Donna Osborne, not related to Ozzy, 75, bought her Monopoly own it all scratch-off ticket from the Speedway store on Oregon Pike in Leola. Osborne told officials she was celebrating finishing radiation treatments for breast cancer and her upcoming birthday when she bought the ticket. But she almost ended up not visiting the store at all. She said, I was at the airport with my daughter, and we were on our way to see a family in Florida when the flight got delayed. Well, it was delayed so many times, I decided to go home. And my daughter stayed and flew to Florida. And Osborne said, if I didn't leave the airport, I would never have bought that ticket. Osborne said she was shocked to see her prize in the Speedway parking lot. She said, I could not believe my eyes. Osborne recalled, I went back into the store and said, can you please check this? Is it right or wrong? Well, the clerk said, it's right. And she said she called her daughter in Florida to tell her the news. She didn't believe me, Osborne said. The winner said she has some ideas for what to do with her prize money, but she refuses to retire. Look at that. Okay. She said, I don't know what I'd do with myself. I'd have to keep moving, which I understand. And she said, I think I'll invest some of the prize, sure, but then go to Alaska. That's what she said. So she's going to Alaska. Good for her. I think that's a beautiful story. I think that's great. Yeah. A lot of people I get angry with people who win. I think that's beautiful. I think that's a wonderful story. I truly do. I think that's good for her, especially that. It's amazing. Yeah. The hobbies are important. Folks, have you heard this? Listen to this. I don't know what's going on here. Hello there, Rich. Hello, everybody. Listen to this. This is odd. Something strange is going on here. A Colorado field hosts a latest mysterious monolith discovery. This also just occurred in Las Vegas, I believe. Something very strange is popping up here. A mirrored monolith appeared in northern Colorado. I love Colorado. It's beautiful. The second such structure to be found this month. So the approximately 8-foot high metal structure was spotted in Bellevue Field and went viral after photos were shared on Reddit. So Lori Graves, who owns the land on which the monolith was discovered, said that many people have been asking about the mysterious structure at her nearby business, the Howling Cow Cafe. Well, Graves said she does not know where the monolith came from. She said, I have ideas, but I almost don't want to ruin the mystery around it. Come on. She sold KDVR TV. So I'm not going to ask people. So the discovery comes less than 3 weeks after a similar monolith was found in the desert north of Las Vegas. The Nevada monolith was removed by police out of concerns about the risk from crowds attempting to capture a glimpse of it. The Colorado monolith is 4-sided, while its Las Vegas counterpart was 3-sided. The monoliths are the latest to appear mysteriously since 2020. The structures were found in locations including in Utah, California, Las Vegas, Texas, Florida, Wisconsin, Romania, and England's Isle of Wight. So an anonymous art collective called the Most Famous Artists later took credit for several of the U.S.-based monoliths. Another monolith was found earlier this year on Hay Bluff near Wales, and the origins of the structure remain unknown. So something is happening. I mean, obviously this one particular artist is not putting on everywhere. I don't know. But I don't know if you guys have seen that. But that's kind of crazy. Yeah. I'm curious to ask you guys, what do you guys think about statues that appear to cry? How do you guys feel about that? Do you think that these are just big frauds? Or do you think that there could be, in fact, some type of miracle going on? I'm curious about what you guys think about that. I'd like to know your input. But I will tell you this. People ask me all the time about what gets the most reaction from demonic issues. And I'll tell you, the answer is really simple. The moment, and this is true, the moment that I pulled the rosary out, that is the moment that I get the most violent reaction from a demonic entity. The most violent reaction. I know there's a lot of people who are not, devoted to the Blessed Mother. I am, but any exorcist will tell you that, and that's absolutely true. It's 100% true. So that's my Benedictine rosary. Well, see, but you may think it's just beads, man. I'm telling you, as an exorcist, I don't get paid for this, and you're not paying to watch me, and I'm not getting paid doing this show. Matter of fact, the gifts are turned off. So I'm not here to try to convince you of anything. I'm just telling you what I've seen. And so I just would disagree that they're just beads. So, but listen to this. There's some things going on. This is one of the reasons why, by the way, the Roman Catholic Church recently came out with an article or explanation for supernatural events. They updated, their booklet, and everybody thought, oh my gosh, they're going to talk about ETs and UFOs and all this. And no, it wasn't not about that at all. And I even went on TikTok and I said, folks, I'm telling you now, the Roman Catholic Church, they're updating their guidelines on supernatural events, and it has nothing to do with UFOs. Nothing. And it didn't. What it had to do with was miracles, such as a weeping Madonna, a weeping statue, or other statues allegedly moving. Because what was happening, this was, I think, 1978 was the last time this guideline was updated. A lot of bishops and archbishops in their diocese were declaring something a miracle, an event, a weeping Madonna or something of this nature. And then Rome would get involved. They would investigate, and then they would come back and say, nope, it's not a miracle, it's debunked. So it was causing a lot of confusion, because you have an archbishop saying, yep, that's a miracle. And then you have Rome coming up and saying, no, it's not. So that's all it was. That's all it was. It had nothing to do with ETs. But of course, everybody went on social media, not everybody, but people who do it, for the likes and the clicks. And it's like, folks, and that's exactly what it was. But Fatima, I absolutely believe that's legitimate. No question about that. No question. Let me talk about this real quick. This is by T.K. Randall. A Virgin Mary statue is allegedly crying tears of blood at a church in Mexico. So the phenomenon has been hailed as a miracle, prompting an investigation by church officials. So according to reports, the statue, which is located at a family-owned church in Morelia, in the state of, I'm not even going to try it, began to cry what looked like tears of blood back on June the 2nd. So the statue depicts Our Lady of Guadalupe, one of the 5 apparitions of Mary dating back to the 1500s, which, by the way, once we get done with our Revelation, that we're going, because we're at the end now at the Revelation. So once I finish Revelation, the next topic, one of the next topics I'm going to talk about is Marian apparitions, and which seems to be legit and what seems to be questionable, because there are quite a few. Hello, everybody. Hello. So what happened, by the way, yeah, it's pretty amazing. I have a very good a friend of mine, speaking of Mary, who painted this for me. And Skip the Grace is who she goes by. That's the username. And this actually stays right there on my altar at home. So when I have mass every single day, it's right there. It is beautiful. Yeah, she gave that to me at a conference, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And she's a fantastic. I'm telling you, she does a beautiful, beautiful work. Beautiful work. So, yep. Skip the Grace. Skip the Grace. This is the Mary, obviously, the Blessed Mother. So, but I think it is absolutely gorgeous. So, if you have not checked her out on TikTok, Skip to Grace, and yep, there she is, right there. As a matter of fact, pin that comment. There she is. So, for those of you on TikTok, yeah, you can follow her. Her work is just beautiful. I mean, it really is. I wish I could draw. I can't draw stick figures, but this is truly beautiful. So, so I should do a duet with some of your work. That's what I should do. Introduce you. Oh, I don't know how to unpin it. Well, if someone can unpin it, I don't know how to unpin it. I just pinned it. Oh, there we go. Well, I don't want to unpin. There we go. I don't know how to pin. There we go. Anyway, but yep. Well, thank you. It is beautiful. So back to the statue here. Unsurprisingly, the alleged miracle quickly attracted a great deal of attention and saw crowds of people flock to the church for the opportunity to see the statue themselves. Quote, I felt a sensation that I haven't felt before, like a joy, but also a real sadness, because she is telling us what will happen. Only she knows. It is a miracle, and hopefully it is a miracle that is good for everyone. One of the locals was quoted as saying, now, church officials are now conducting an investigation into the phenomenon, that it's necessary to highlight the need for caution when approaching an issue as delicate as that of an alleged miracle. Archdiocese of Morelia said in a statement, we are taking the necessary measures to investigate the situation in a deep and exhaustive manner. Therefore, it is too early to issue a definitive position on the matter. So it says it will be the ecclesiastical hierarchy itself that confirms the team that will carry out the detailed study on the case. So as soon as there are any relevant report or conclusion, it will be made public knowledge. Well, so there we go. So we have a Weeping Madonna in Mexico. That's a pretty. There's a lot of that stuff happening. Hello. So I don't know. There's a lot of people reporting these statues, and now the concern that I have, and Rome also has this. I think anybody would have this confirmed, is we don't want to get into the practice of worshiping these statues. So that's a big no-no. And I think sometimes people go to that route, and that's what they should not do. And so we have to remind people that this is not about something we should worship. And no. And I agree. I absolutely agree. Randy, I was asking, are you ever scared going into places? No, because by the time I get involved, the investigations have already been concluded, and we pretty much know what we're dealing with. So this is why I rely so heavily on paranormal investigators who are seasoned, who don't charge, who don't think everything's a demon. And they go in and they investigate. They spend hours and hours at locations. They gather all the evidence. That takes a long time. And they present all the evidence to us, and they say, okay, this is what we have. And we kind of go from there. So By the time I get involved, I'm pretty comfortable in, okay, I know what we're kind of dealing with here. But see, with demons, you know what surprises me more, and what shocks me more, is not so much activity of demons, because demons are doing what it is in their nature to do: to lie, deceive, destroy, to harm. That's okay. So we have that. But what shocks me more than anything is the behavior of human beings. That is what frightens me far more than the behavior of demons. Because I mean, to me, I can't. My mind, I'll never understand how people, trolls. Well, okay, example, sure, example. There was a little, I forgot his name. I think he's like 11-year-old kid, and he has a brittle bone disease. Kevin is his name. And he goes on TikTok and he talks about his Legos, and he tries to bring joy to people. And sometimes he sings, and he just wants to bring joy to people. He just wants to bring happiness because he can't walk because of his brittle bone disease. But he's just so joyous. And he was doing a live and talking about his Legos, and people were coming in there and trolling, saying some of the nastiest things to this little boy who can't walk. They were falsely reporting his lives to try to get him off TikTok so that he couldn't do his lives. I can't understand anybody. That to me, my brain will never understand that. So when I say that I understand the nature of a demon, because they don't change their nature, you know what they are. But how can you have a human being who's supposed to be created in the image of God to go to a 11-year-old little boy's live who just wants to spread joy and try to get him kicked off on TikTok just because you can? See, that's what I'm talking about. I don't get that. I don't understand that, and I never will, because I can't understand that type of hatred. Well, no, I not necessarily. I think, see, one thing we have to be careful about is it always attachment, demons? We always sometimes want to blame demons for everything. We got to be careful with that, because remember, we still have free will. And so hang tight with me, everybody. I've got to fix this real quick on Instagram. Just stop, because after the hour it does. So let me do Instagram real quick and start that back up so that people can enjoy it. So bear with me for a second. There we go. Yeah, on Instagram after an hour. So now we're back. We're live back on, and it does the same thing here on TikTok. After an hour, you have to do like a little puzzle. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's that. And so Janelle, yes, I was. Janelle's asking, were you scared when you did your first exorcism? I did. As a matter of fact, if you've seen the movie or the television show that I was on, the cast member, it was Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists. It was on the Travel Channel, HBO Max, and I think Discovery. I'm not really sure. But anyway, we did one season. And so I had talked about my first case. Now, they didn't air it as my first case, but that's what it was. I was the assistant. I was the secondary. I wasn't the primary exorcist. I was the secondary. So I was the assistant. And during the, and they actually showed this, but during the exorcism, I lift the eyelids, and they was solid black. But there was a blackness that I could see it's like a mirror. So I could see my reflection. So I was looking in the eyes, and I could see myself, and I couldn't move. I was completely catatonic. So I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I couldn't talk. I couldn't, yell out, I need help. I was completely 100% catatonic. And I felt like prey. That's exactly, I felt like I was looking in the eyes of an apex predator, and I was prey. So thankfully, the exorcist that was the primary, he pulled me back and he did a blessing, and we continued. But that was probably the that was the one that really opened my eyes. No pun intended. But that was one of the moments that I'll never forget. Never. That feeling that vulnerability. I didn't like that, not at all. So yeah, that was that was crazy. But yeah. Now we did. Yeah, someone's asking about did I do Ghost? I did Ghost Adventures a long time ago. I did with Bobby Mackey's. And so that we did 3 episodes there at Bobby Mackey's. But this is by Salwan Azim. And the scariest episode of Ghost Adventures is actually rooted in dark history, Salwan says. So listen to this. And it's true. Ghost Adventures explores haunted locations and high-tech gadgets. But Ghost Adventures is a paranormal reality show. Features ghost hunters Zach and Aaron and Bill Tolley and Jay, who investigate a new haunted location for each episode. For over a decade, Ghost Adventures has entertained the audience with the show's mix of ghost hunting and historical deep dives. As far as the format of the show goes, every episode begins with a tour of the haunted location as the team learns about its history. The ghost hunters then identify paranormal activity hotspots and use their range of high-tech gadgets to try and capture evidence. Well, over the 25 seasons of the show, the team has reported evidence of spirit possession, sudden changes in temperature, unexplained noises, and even apparitions. That's not all. Zach has claimed that he was possessed while they were investigating in Preston Castle. And on the other hand, Groff and Goodwin have experienced dark energies taking over them in several episodes. I remember when Aaron had issues with Bobby Mackey's. One of the most spine-chilling episodes in season 21, a 2-hour special called Cecil Hotel. And in that episode, the crew spends a night at the infamous hotel, making the first time Cecil was investigated for paranormal activity. So what makes that episode particularly harrowing is not just the paranormal encounters the team faces, but the deeply sinister history of the Cecil Hotel itself. The Cecil Hotel was originally constructed in 1924. Was meant to be a middle-class hotel in downtown Los Angeles. Sadly, though, 5 years into its opening, the Great Depression hit. And while the Cecil was fairly popular through the 1940s, the hotel started experiencing a decline when its surrounding area, famously known as Skid Row, which I've been there, I've seen that. That's talking about an eye-opener. Started becoming populated with homeless individuals. And at its peak, up to 10,000 homeless individuals are living around it within a 4-mile radius. But that's not what led to the downfall of the place. The reputation of the Cecil has been permanently tainted after at least 16 sudden or unexplained deaths that have occurred in or around the hotel. The first incident occurred in 1931 when a guest named W.K. Norton checked in to the hotel and passed in his room after ingesting poison capsules. However, that's unfortunate. That's not the end of it. So throughout the 40s and 50s, Cecil was nicknamed the Unaliving, can't say the other word, because of the series of unaliving that took place there. The next chilling death came in 1964 when retired telephone operator Pigeon Goldie Osgood was found unalived in her room. Well, there's a lot. And there's another one as well. And some bad people took up residence at the hotel. The hotel isn't just famous for a string of unaliving and people passing away. In the 1980s, the place was used as a temporary residence for the notorious serial killer Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker. That guy, boy, he just radiated evil. Ramirez stayed at the Cecil for a few weeks, during which he committed many of his infamous crimes. In the 2021 Netflix documentary Night Stalker, The Hunt for a Serial Killer, a former hotel clerk revealed that Ramirez would strip off his bloody clothes in the alley outside the hotel before sneaking back into his room in a blood-stained underwear. The criminal was finally exposed when a few LA residents spotted him attempting to steal a car and detained him until police arrived. Yeah, that's, I tell you what, there's a lot of evil there. Certainly Richard Ramirez is, and I've done a presentation before on serial killers. And the thing is people, I ask all the time, do I think they were possessed? I don't think so, because they remember what they did. When you're in the stage of possession, you don't remember what you did. So I think it's awfully convenient. Now, there was one case. There was one time when Jeffrey Dahmer, he picked up an individual and they went to a hotel, and he had no intention, he said, and I believe him on this part because he was very straightforward and honest in his revealing of what happened during the interviews after he was arrested. He just told the entire thing. But he said there was one time where he took this individual to a hotel, and the next morning he kind of just blacked out and he woke up, and this poor guy was just, it was terrible what happened. And he said he didn't remember it. He said he had to have done something to him, but he doesn't remember the act itself. And what's amazing is people collect, John Wayne Gacy. They collect John Wayne Gacy's paintings. Now, I've shown this a couple times. I'll show it again. This is an actual painting. So a family kind of purchased these kind of macabre items, and I don't know why, but they just like collecting these things. And so they spent some money on because these are not cheap. And so they brought these things home, and then activity started occurring in their house. And they contacted me, and we talked about it. They removed the items. I had to bless the home. But here is one picture of Gacy's. So it's obviously in a protective thing because I'm not going to, I don't want it. So there's one. I mean, ironic that he would paint Christ. Here's another that he painted. And so when I go to the Paranormal Expo, by the way, I'm going to be at the Paranormal Expo in October, ArkansasParanormalExpo.com, and I will be bringing several items with me. So if you're going to be there, you'll be able to see these live. So I think they're built. Yeah, it's ArkansasParanormalExpo.com. So I will be bringing these. I will also bring this. So this is, of course, Gacy. This is that's Pogo the Clown. That's the clown that he used to name himself. And then this, I'll also be bringing this. This is also Gacy's painting. Now he was known to like his finger. He would with a sharp item to have a little bit of blood there, and he was known to put blood here. And so he just obviously a very demented individual. And these are an actual pair of what they did. A lot of these people, when they were in prison, if they had especially Gacy, Gacy would paint all the time, and he would sell it, and it fetched a pretty decent amount of money because he used that money for his defense. So a lot of people purchased these. I mean, they were really hard to find. But this individual purchased. This says here. You guys can see it. Enjoy my glasses. Respectfully yours, Jeff. That's what it says. It says, enjoy my glasses. Respectfully yours, Jeff. These are a pair of Dahmer's glasses that he sold. And I really shouldn't be touching it because I don't want to break them. They're real fragile. But somebody purchased this, and from a I don't know why they do that. I don't know why, but they do. And so then the activity happens in their home and they want to know why. Well, hello, what do you think? So I will be bringing those plus a lot more other items with me. I'll also bring the doll that was aired on the Legion of Exorcists show. So I'll be bringing that with me. It stays in the container. It does not come out. I am not going to have this catch my laptop on fire again. I'm not going to do that. That was really upsetting. So yeah, I'll be bringing several of those items plus other items that I've never showed before. So I have a storage facility. Yeah. So, but people ask, well, why do you have this? Well, I'm not going to. I have no desire. I'm not going to open up a museum. It's not going to happen. The reason is because I have a master's of education. I used to teach kids with learning disabilities, and I understand that not everyone learns the same way. So teaching methodologies is you have to incorporate diverse teaching methodologies when you're giving presentations on demonology and possession and haunted items. So it's one thing to talk about these items, but it's a complete different perspective when you're able to actually say, here it is. And the people are then within feet of that item. There is just, there's a complete different experience altogether. And so I teach about these items, to tell people stay away from them, stop collecting them. Nothing good is going to come from you guys buying these things. So it just, yeah, it's, oh, well, thank you there, Cal. I appreciate that. So anyway, that's what we have to be careful. And so that's why. If not possessed, what's the connection with demons? Well, I certainly think attachment, no question. There's no question that you can fall under demonic attachment. Here's the problem with always using the excuse it's demons, because really that's the book of Enoch places the blame of sin directly on demons, and it takes the culpability away from the individual's free will. This is what I don't like. That's the one thing I don't like about the book of Enoch. I think it's a book that everyone should read if you're interested in theology, but also I think it's one that you have to understand that we cannot use demons as an excuse every single time we do something bad or evil or sinful. Now, certainly it falls under ordinary demonic activity, so through temptation, no doubt. But we ultimately have the free will. We freely choose to engage in those improper behaviors, or we freely choose to walk away. And I just think it's a scapegoat. I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of people using it's demons, and because then it's like, it's too easy of an excuse, I think, sometimes. I read this. I didn't even know. I was like, really, seriously. Sometimes, folks, the haunted items are getting. Some of them are stupid. They're just plain stupid. And for example, this is by Monica Charsley. Okay, a psychic has claimed that a doll is possessed. Dolls don't become possessed. They have attachment body. They have no desire to possess a doll. A doll is possessed by the spirit of. So let me say this again. A psychic has claimed that a doll is possessed by the spirit of Princess Diana. After a worried client desperately begged her to examine it after witnessing paranormal events. I know. This individual agreed to observe the figure of Lady Di after the customer confided in her and said she noticed the doll had moved around in her display cage. The woman said the model would change positions when she wasn't looking and explained it was the only doll who displayed any behavior. The clairvoyant described that while the doll looked ordinary at first, it soon reacted with the same suspicious movement as her client had recalled. And the person went on to further claim that the doll was lying flat on her table 1 minute and then was found in the sitting position in the next. So she also claimed to have observed the prince's doll without its crown at one time. And as a result, the Psychic believes that the model is possessed by the spirit of Princess Diana, who died in a car crash in Paris in 1997. In a recent video on her YouTube channel, this person is seen communicating with the doll. Communicating with the doll after apparently hooking it up to a transistor radio. And through the radio fuzz, this psychic believed that she can hear Lady Di answering questions in English. And the footage was the footage was captioned, a family desperate due to the paranormal events in their house decided to deliver a doll of Princess Diana to the medium. And in the clip, she asked the doll how she felt. And in response, the Princess Diana doll answered sad. The psychic then questioned her and asked who she was. And the word Diana was apparently audible through the radio noise. Anyway, this person asked the figurine, are you worried? Why? And she hears the doll answering yes. And clarifying the word son. So the psychic asked, well, why are you worried? And claims she hears the response, Kate. So the doll allegedly confirms with a yes. And this psychic said the figure answered Kate because she thinks Diana's spirit is worried about her grandchildren. However, it's possible that this psychic is unaware of Kate Middleton's recent health issues. This psychic posted the video of this video on the social media pages for her 100,000 followers. One fan commented, wow, how scary, but what a miracle. Another said, I found this video short, but very interesting. A third person said, you are a true source of miracles. So, folks, now we have a situation where we have someone talking to a Princess Diana doll, and the doll is responding. I you know what? This is definitely time. Yeah. Yep. This is definitely a time that we need some crazy music. See, this is the problem. Okay, this is the problem. This is the problem. This is right. Okay. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. Okay, so anyway, Princess Diana doll is possessed. So there we go. Okay, why turn off the gifts? Here's what I want you guys to do. Listen, folks, I do appreciate the gifts. I truly do. I truly do. However, right now we are trying to raise money for our 2 clergy member. We have next year, we have a church retreat, and we do not get paid as clergy. So we do this 100% free. And Father Sean is coming in from Vegas, and Father Mark, North Carolina. So they have to come in from a different state, and they have to fly, and then they have to get a car, and it's going to be expensive. So while I appreciate TikTok, please understand that TikTok takes 70% of everything you give to people. So if you give a person $10, TikTok takes $7 of that. So if you want to donate to the ministry, you can certainly do that. You can go to my website, bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down and just send something in the mail. Just do it that way. Otherwise, just go to usocc.org and just click on the retreat button. And Father Sean and Father Mark would appreciate that. So we appreciate that very much. Okay, and so would they. Let me just find a couple. So yeah, Princess Diana doll. We're gonna put this definitely in the trash can. Listen to this. This is really fascinating. I don't know if you've heard about this. I just wonder how legit this actually could. It's interesting. This is by Jake Carter. Listen to this, everybody. Listen. A futuristic prison concept promises rapid rehabilitation using synthetic memories. So let me just explain this. Technology, who wrote this, Jake Carter. Technology has infiltrated nearly every aspect of our existence, and according to one scientist, it's time to introduce these advancements into the penitentiary system. In a groundbreaking new concept, a researcher has proposed a futuristic prison where criminals could serve their sentence in just a few minutes instead of years or decades. The project, and here's the project. The project is called Cognify. Cognify. And it involves implanting synthetic memories of crimes into a prisoner's brain, but from the victim's perspective. Wow. Developed by Hashim Al-Ghali, this concept aims to create a lasting therapeutic effect by making these memories permanent. So the proposed system includes a virtual reality-like device that displays artificial intelligence-generated footage of the crime, paired with a brain implant that induces emotional states such as remorse and regret. This approach aims to instill feelings that some individuals may not be able to invoke on their own. Globally, millions of people are incarcerated, and authorities claim that prison time deters future crimes. However, more than 100 studies from 2021 suggest that imprisonment does not effectively prevent reoffending. And based on this data, AI Ghali designed a future prison to help criminals genuinely learn from their past actions. So according to Al-Ghali, Cognify, that's the name of it, Cognify, will eventually be able to create and implant artificial memories directly into the prisoners' brains. These complex, vivid, and realistic memories will be generated in real time using AI. And in practice, the rehabilitation process would last really only a few minutes, but it would feel like years to the criminal. So the rehabilitation will be customized for each case, considering the severity of the crime and the sentence. Memories can be tailored to meet each subject's rehabilitation needs. I don't know. This is initially, prisoners will undergo high-resolution brain scans to create detailed maps of their neural pathways. And these maps will be used by the Cognify device to target specific brain areas responsible for memory, reasoning, logical thinking, including the prefrontal cortex and the lobes, interior cortex, etc. Once deployed, the device will broadcast AI-generated memories of the prisoner's crime, which could range from domestic violence to fraud. In addition to visual effects, prisoners may also experience physical reactions, such as the pain and suffering endured by the victims. Cognify will also feature encrypted storage for sensitive inmate information and rehabilitation data. So AI Ghali believes that this concept will revolutionize the criminal justice system, signify reducing prison terms and the costs associated with maintaining prisons. Man. So it's called Cognify. If you do something, I'm looking at here, Cognify. Yeah, there it is. It's also on Dazed Digital. So if you do something that perhaps you shouldn't have done, and the judge says you have 20 years in prison, 20 years in prison, or you can do this new thing called Cognify, where you get a brain implant. And you are going to experience the exact feelings and emotions that you inflicted on your victim. And it might feel 10 years for you, but in actuality, it's just 2 minutes. Take a look at that. This is legit. I don't know. That's just I don't like any type of idea of having a brain implant. I just think when you start messing, we just simply don't know as much as we think we know about the brain. I don't know. I don't know. Something doesn't seem right about that. That's I don't know. Yeah, the Alexa is especially getting smarter. Have you guys heard? You know, AI. We got to get a grip on this, because if we don't, it's going to be problematic. This is by Jonathan Chadwick. He says, "Is Alexa about to get smarter?" Well, Amazon will copy Apple by giving its smart assistant a powerful AI revamp. Reports are claiming. Listen to this. Just a few weeks after Apple laid out this huge new AI project, it seems that Amazon is getting in on the act too. The tech giant is about to fit its smart assistant Alexa with powerful generative AI capabilities that make it much smarter, according to a report. Alexa will be fitted with a conversational generative AI, and it says, although it's unclear what AI model this will actually be, it means that she'll be able to respond faster and in a more human-like language in response to complicated prompts. Amazon's big rivals in tech already have their own AI chatbots, including Google, X, Microsoft, Apple. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people like that chat thing and that chat AI thing. I'm like, no. Known internally as Banyan, Amazon's new project would represent the first major overhaul of the voice assistant since it was introduced in 2014, along with the Echo line of speakers. So Amazon has dubbed the new voice assistant Remarkable Alexa, according to people with direct knowledge of the company's plans. So it will cost a monthly fee of around $5 to access. The report says, although there will still be a free and less capable version of the assistant without the AI. Some of the Amazon employees who have worked on the project say Banyan, Banyan, represents a desperate attempt to revitalize the Alexa service, which has never turned a profit. So Amazon has pushed workers towards a deadline of August to prepare the newest version of Alexa, the sources added, but it's unclear when it will be released. Now, the company's CEO, Andy Jassy, has reportedly taken a personal interest in seeing Alexa reinvigorated. In a letter in April to the shareholders, Jassy promised a more intelligent and capable Alexa, but did not provide details. So in a statement, an Amazon spokesperson said the firm has already integrated generative AI into different components of Alexa. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned. I guess AI can be beneficial, but I'm not a fan of it. It's I don't know. It seems to be. I'm not anti-technology. It's not that I'm anti-technology. It just seems like it's becoming kind of creepy. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. Yeah, Catherine says, I don't trust AI. And thank you very much for I'm liking this, the 70,000 likes. For those of you who have shared, thank you as well. I appreciate all you guys sharing on TikTok as well. So thank you for that. I saw this one that I want to pass on to you guys. This is by Michael Moran. This is a pretty cool place. I believe this is in England. A man explores an abandoned hospital that even police will not enter. But it takes a chilling turn. An urban explorer investigating spooky goings-ons in the deserted 18th century mansion says that the building is so creepy that even police will not enter. Ghost hunter Moxley says a police van stopped to see what was going on as he entered the now abandoned Meanwood Park Hospital in Leeds. Yep. It's in the UK, did not hang around. The police have pulled up outside. They saw me standing there while I was doing the drone footage. It was clear to Moxley that they had no enthusiasm for following him into the sinister-looking former hospital. He didn't even come over to ask what we were doing. He literally just sat there and drove off. And they may have good reason. The now abandoned building was built in the 1760s, and in 1919 was converted into a facility for men, women, and children with learning disabilities. Former inmates complain of harsh regiment with stern punishments and even more in minor transgressions. And many staff and inmates report seeing the apparition of a mysterious gray lady. on the mansion's grand staircase late at night, and Moxley claimed he heard what sounded like footsteps and perhaps the rustling of a woman's clothing, and he ventured into the hall's crumbling interior. Moxley used an advanced smartphone app that had an array of sensors to convert signals from the local environment into speech. It told him there was evil everywhere. As he ventured along one of the hall's numerous gloomy corridors, which, by the way, for those of you who want to know, you can go to my YouTube page now, and I do have the Gates of Hell documentary up there. It's free, just enjoy. But it's called Gates of Hell. So just make sure you go to bishopjameslong.com, bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down to where it says social media links. You'll see the YouTube, and there we go. No, I did not. Fit Club, have you heard about UFC fighter Alex Maria using spirits to succeed in fights? No, that's pretty dumb. Yeah, that's I don't know. Oh, thank you for. I'm glad you guys like that. At one point, the Spirit Talker app eerily told Moxley, "I'm beside you," as he described an overwhelming sense of dread in one particular room. The disembodied voice said to dig in one particular location, and someone else appeared to have been given the same instruction before, as a hole had been dug in one wall. It suggested that something or someone was under the floorboards, but the floorboards aren't particularly sound anymore, and the presence seemed to warn him that the planking is about to give away beneath his feet. His friend, who was exploring a different part of the rambling mansion, turned with his own reports of his own creepy reports. There's definitely something inside residing, haunting the place, Moxley said. Well, that'd be pretty cool. I'd go there to investigate. I mean, I've been to creepier places. No question about that at all. Yeah. It's just go check it out, and yeah, you might like it. And some people really enjoy it, and some people don't. By the way, Paranormal Activity 7. I think I've seen Paranormal Activity 1. I think the movie. Well, apparently that's happening. It's officially happening. So if you like the Paranormal Activity movies, yep, Paranormal Activity 7 is in the works. So get ready to question every floorboard creak in your house again, because Paranormal Activity 7 is officially on its way. And yep, that's in spite of the sixth film being called The Last Chapter. So this one will be in the epilogue. So the announcement on the seventh installment was made by Cine Europe with studio chairman and CEO Jim revealing that Paramount are working on the next entry in the horror franchise. He says, "We are partnering with Uber horror producer Jason Blum to bring a new installment of Paranormal Activity." I thought he recently said that needs to end. The film is currently in development, but does not yet have a confirmed title or release date. While Paranormal Activity 7 will technically be the 8th entry into the franchise, the spinoff, The Marked Ones, is not counted as one of the core films. And those in attendance of the Cine Europe was also given a first look at Top Gun Maverick, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, anyway. Maverick, by the way, was previously scheduled for release this year, but has been it was set back for June 2020. So anyway, I don't. Was there? Did that ever come out? Paranormal Activity 7. I don't know. Paranormal Activity 7. Oh yeah, there it is. Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. I guess that's what it is. Yeah, it's one of those. I just kind of like, yeah, There's just a couple shows that I really like. So someone asked me the other day, is there any particular shows that I like that I would suggest as far as that are scary? Here's the deal. I don't really watch possession movies because most of them are stupid. I mean, they're just plain and simple. They're just stupid. And so I don't really watch a whole lot of them. Because it seems like I lose my intelligence when I watch some of them. But there is The Terror. Have you guys seen that? If you guys have not seen that, it's called The Terror. This, to me, I love this show. Love it. I think it came out in, when did it come out? 2018. It's called The Terror. And it's haunting, suspenseful, and based on true events. The Terror is the story of a perilous Arctic voyage. So there were two basically ships, I believe it was like in 1890s, 1880s or so, I think. And these two ships were trying to find, go to the Arctic and find the passage. And if you've not seen that, if you've not seen The Terror, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's the season 1. Season 1. It's not the season 2. It's the season 1 with the ships. So if you've not, man, I really love. That was such a great show. Let's see. Let me find shows, because people are asking me if I know any shows that I would suggest. Let me see. I'm kind of going. Of course, the new Interview with a Vampire. That was pretty good. That was not bad. That was pretty good. Okay. There's a television show. It is not for kids. I'll tell you that right now. Kids should not be watching it. It's called From. From. And I believe there's 3 seasons. What I love movies and shows that during the day, it's okay. During the day, it's people go on with their lives, but then at night, something happens. Everything changes. Everything changes. So that's what happened in this. That's what I love. That type of. I don't know what I got it on Amazon, so I'm not for sure where it's playing. But I purchased it from Amazon. But it's called From, From. But I love movies or shows that during the day it's fine, but the monsters come out at night. And that the way they did it was very well done. But it is not. It is not for kids at all. So just bear that in mind. The kids shouldn't be watching it. So I'm going, of course, The Purge. I like the original Purge. I thought that was very, very interesting. Really interesting. I'm going through some of these. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. See, I really enjoyed The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Was really good. If you like, if you like, I've talked about this before. If you like vampire movies that really look like a vampire, not sparkles, in the sunlight, but that was a very good movie. If that's something that you enjoy. Some people don't. That's fine. Again, these are not. Of course, Get Out is an amazing movie. Amazing movie. Oh, I agree. It's the concept of the Purge is quite concerning indeed, but it does open up the question: would you do that if you had that opportunity? Let's see. They're going through some other ones. Most of them are just kind of like, bleh. I thought The Mist was okay. The Others was fantastic. The Others is an amazing movie. Absolutely, truly amazing movie. Just going through it. Nefarious, phenomenal. The Right, phenomenal. Some of these movies are just really bad. Into the Wild, that's not a scary movie or anything, but that's also a very good movie. If you've not seen that movie, Into the Wild is a really good. Backcountry. Now look here. See, I like bears at a distance, but if you watch the movie Backcountry, you ain't going to be camping out ever again. Never, ever. If you want to go camping, in a tent. After you watch that movie, you're going to say, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. So that movie is called Back Country, and it was a 2015. 2015 Back Country. Take a look at that if you have not seen it. It's pretty interesting. You know, The Crazies was a good movie too, especially because of the idea of could that ever actually happen. That was I thought that was pretty interesting. Frozen, not the Disney thing. Frozen 2010. So Frozen in 2010, it's a typical day on the slopes turned into a chilling nightmare for 3 snowboarders when they get stranded on the chairlift. So if you have not seen that one, I thought that was really well done. Again, I don't think it's for kids, but it's called Frozen. It's 2010. Yeah, it's not that Frozen. It's 2010. What Dreams May Come. Of course, that's a fantastic movie. I enjoy that. But there's a bunch of them in here that's not paranormal related. You know, the Hatfield and McCoys I thought was really good with Kevin Costner. I thought that was very, very good. The Aviator was also very good. LBJ. Man, I see. He did a great job with that. I didn't think I was going to like it, but it's Woody Harrelson plays LBJ, and it's 2017. I'm telling you that I thought that was he did a really good job. I did. I liked it. Marrowbone is very interesting. There's a like a twist there. So Marrowbone is good. There's the Saddam Hussein. I've seen the Babadook. But there is a House of Saddam. 2008. You know, that was well done. It's called House of Saddam. And that's 2008. That really was very, very well done. Again, The Terror, season 1. Hidden Figures, great movie. Also, the Devil's Double. So that's also about Saddam. It's his son, Uday Hussein. Boy, I tell you what, that's based on a true story. That's a really good movie called The Devil's Double in 2011. Dallas Buyers Club, phenomenal movie. Passengers, also a great movie, was one of my favorites. I really do like I like Hell on Wheels. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. It's Hell on Wheels is really fantastic. It is really terrific. Again, I don't think kids should watch it, but it's 2012. But man, Hell on Wheels, that is just it really is a super show. I think it's 5 seasons on that. There's also a movie called Voices. Ryan Reynolds is in it, and it's 2015. Yeah, this really will open your mind to someone who struggles with his type of mental illness. It's called The Voices. So if you've not seen that, you might want to take a look at that. It's pretty interesting. Ed Wood was really, really good as well. 1994. There's also a great movie called Silence. Silence is in 2017. Andrew Garfield stars in it. Just an amazing movie. A really, really great movie. Intelligent movie. The Grizzly Man, if you've not seen that documentary. The Sacrament. The Sacrament is 2014. It's loosely based on Jim Jones. But The Sacrament is 2014. I like Wind Chilled. Wind Chill. There you go. 2007. No, I don't have it listed. I just kind of, 30 Days of Night is also good. Now, if you've not seen this movie, if you like World War II movies, especially about a particular leader in Germany, you're not going to find a better movie than Downfall. Downfall, in my opinion, is the absolute best movie this particular leader I have ever seen. The actor who plays this particular leader, I mean, it was like a clone. Yeah, Schindler's List is amazing. But Downfall is a terrific, terrific movie. There's also called The Forest. The Forest is an interesting movie. It's 2016. It's based on the Okigahara Forest in Japan. It's also known as the Unaliving Forest, and people go there to unalive. But it's The Forest, and it's called 2016 movie. It's not too bad. It's not bad. If you like a Bigfoot movie, the ending was a little, but it exists. I would go to Okigahara. Yeah. Yeah, that would be a very interesting, because of the history of the Okigahara. I did a presentation once on the forest. I'll do it again. But boy, it's terrible. That the history on that place it's really sad. It really is very, very sad. Shutter Island is fantastic. Of course, Misery is fantastic. I actually like World of Worlds with Tom Cruise. Darkest Hour. Man, if you have not seen that one, Gary Oldman does a fantastic Winston Churchill. Really, it's 2017 called Darkest Hour. Phenomenal. Let's see. The Visit. That's a really interesting movie. It's a 2015 movie. And of course, The Others. And there's a bunch more. I mean, those are just a few, just to name, but The Others is one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah, it would be interesting to go to the Okigahara Forest because of the terrible events that occurred there. I also like Harriet, so that there's quite a few. Oh, I love The Others. I think The Others is brilliant. See, I love movies that make you think and have a twist at the end. You know, it was really well done. Yeah, it was a good movie. So anyway, but if you do see the movie or the television show From, just you need to understand that definitely not, kids should not watch that. I don't even think they should. Hell on Wheels. There's also a show called Deadwood. That's HBO, I believe. That's definitely not for kids at all. But what I liked about Deadwood is if you really wanted to know what North Dakota was like, in that time, they pretty much showed it. They didn't sugarcoat anything. But it's definitely a movie that's, or it's a show. It was a show that was, adults only. Yeah, I watched a little bit of Evil. I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't. I don't know why. So the one I'm looking forward to is Passion of the Christ, the Resurrection. Yeah. The Village. I did like The Village. But see, like I said, I like the, oh my goodness. The Okigahara first class is $23,000 to get there. Well, I'll be playing the lottery on that one. Cognify is the name of it. So yeah, Cognify. Yeah, I'll that would be pretty cool. But it's an eerie place. It's an eerie place. Got to win that lottery. Win that lottery, by gosh. So anyway, I want to remind everybody that, of course, I'll be here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Bible study. And we'll rock and roll with that. I do not believe, I'm pretty sure Miss Wilma will not be here with us. She's just not, God love her. So, the Amityville, yeah, that's pretty interesting stuff. So, okay, for those of you on Spreaker, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. Yeah, it's already 10 o'clock. My gosh, time goes by fast, doesn't it? Yeah, poor Miss Wilma. She's just struggling. She really is. Okay, remember, folks, I tell you, I'm going to be here again. We'll be here tomorrow, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I tell you all the time, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. You're priceless, and don't let anybody tell you or convince you otherwise. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Rumble. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Bye-bye.